Okay, greetings everybody and welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're back here on day 21 of the series that we're running for the month of November, entitled My Favorite Rock Albums from 1979. So, we're not doing albums that aren't rock. That's one thing we're not doing. This is all about rock. There's no jazz fusion. There's no crooning music or any disco or any stuff like that. We're just strictly sticking with the rock album genre. So, of course, there's no other parameters here. Just my top 30. There's no rules about number of albums by a band or anything like that. We're not doing any of that because, frankly, it's 1 year and very few bands put out more than one album a year at this point in time. So the album I've chosen today comes from a progressive rock band, or a space rock band if you prefer, that I've come to like quite a bit. This album was highly recommended and I purchased it recently and been listening to it a lot. Definitely deserves to be here. It's along with yesterday's album, the Ted Nugent one, are two albums that I really quite like a lot that I've recently discovered. So talking about this album, Silent Cries and Mighty Echoes from Eloy. Now, for those of you who do not know who Eloy is a progressive rock band that specializes in kind of noises and effects and spacey sounding music. They are a German-based band that for most people on this channel would be well known. I've got maybe half a dozen of their albums now. This is the most recent one. I really like this album a lot. It's one of the albums I'm going out for the day today and taking about 3 or 4 albums with me. I have to go to another city, so this will be one of the 3 or 4 albums that I take with me to listen to while I'm driving. And so just such a good album, it has everything about Eloy I like, and none of those effects that I don't like. So most Eloy albums I do like. There's a few of them I like more. This is one of them. So this was released in 1979, of course. They recorded it, I think, in November to December, so I'm guessing as soon as it was finished recording, they released it, so probably late in the year. So the members of the band is Frank Borman. He plays guitar, all different types of guitars, and does the lead vocal part. Not the greatest of vocalists, but you get used to him after a while. I don't notice him nearly as much as I did at first. It took a while to get used to his sound of his voice. It's very kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger-ish, if that's even a word, really. Then we have Petlav Schmidtchen, who is the keyboardist and does synthesizers as well. Klaus Peter Metzoil, he is the bass and backing vocals on this thing. And then Jürgen Rosenthal, who is the drummer and does percussion and also plays the flute, actually. So they're well represented in the musical realm. Some really good stuff on this album. If you haven't listened to Eloy, this is a good album to start with, or Colors is a good one, but because we're doing 1979, I think this is an excellent album to start on. They use a lot of keyboard sounds, but they're dominated primarily by synthesizer and synthesizer effects, which are really well. I don't know if it's as dominating as you might get on, say, someone like, trying to think. Sorry. I had somebody of mine, Tangerine Dream. Like, they're not as dominated like that, but they definitely fall within that range. Definitely similar in a lot of ways to Hawkwind because of that too, although I think Hawkwind is a heavier band. There are some songs on this album, especially like Masters of Sensation. There's one other one here that Pile of Paradise. Both these tracks, a lot of forward sounding bass. The bass is a predominant instrument on those particular tracks. And of course, all the songs, or most of the songs, have a spacey element to their music. And just really catchy stuff, to be honest. Sorry, I'm having a hard time now. I'm getting tired today. The instrumentation on the final track, Mighty Echoes, which I think is the best of the 5 songs on this album. The first side has Astral Entrance and Master of Sensation, which are actually listed as separate tracks, but if you look at the album, they're listed as A and B tracks. Well, not the album, but if you're looking for information on them online, you'll get them as A and B tracks, but they're listed as separate songs on the album. Apocalypse is a 2-parter with Silent Cries, Divide the Night, and the Rise of I can't even remember what I wrote there. Anyways, I guess you could probably find out if I look here on the album. Let's just look. Yeah, so you have Silent Cries, the Divide the Nights, The Vision, Burning, and Force Majeure. And that actually that third part wasn't given online, so I had copied it from online, but in actual fact, on the album it is given. Then you have Pilots of Paradise, De Labor Solis, and Mighty Echoes. I don't know, whenever I listen to Eloy, especially on this album, I find myself thinking back to The War of the Worlds, the H.G. Wells movie, which was not War of the Worlds, sorry. Now I can't remember the name of the movie. The Time Machine. Okay, so in The Time Machine, Professor goes forward in history and discovers that there's a race of people called the Eloi, and they're being basically captured and eaten by their subterranean humans that had grown up under the earth, called the oh Christ, I can't remember what they were called now. Anyways, every time I listen to this album, I hear little bits about that story here, like in Silent Cries that Divide the Night. That's something that you would see in that movie. Pilot to Paradise, that's him and his time machine going to paradise. So I see little bits of hints of that. I don't know if that was intentional here or I'm just reading stuff into it, but anyways, it was one of my favorite movies, so the album really resonates with me because of that. I chose the color green to wear today because of the album itself is green. Eloy is very big on having really colorful albums. I don't know if I can reach. I'll reach a couple more to show you. So you have this green effect everywhere on the album. Then in this particular one, which is Power and the Passion, all blue, a blue and white effect. And then you have this one with multiple colors, Eloy's Colors album, which I think is considered the preemptive or their biggest album, so to speak. So anyways, really this album is just really good. If you like Eloy and you haven't heard this one yet, you got to get this one. If you don't like Eloy, I think this is a good start if you want to get into that spacey kind of progressive rock sound. Anyways, for today on day 21, this album is going to be my choice. So if you liked this episode, please hit the like button. Any comments about the album, about the band, about anything I've said, about the show, about the series, anything, you can put those down in the comment section. Please hit the subscription button and hit the notice bell, so you don't miss any more of the episodes. And we will see you tomorrow with the next episode of my favorite rock albums from 1979. Take care.